Believe it or not, I'm going to actually go with October 2020 for Jimmy Carter to pass away before the election, possibly at 96 years of age. He's up there in age. He was a farmer, he was a philanthropist, he was a governor of Georgia before becoming president in 1977 all the way up to 1981. Up until the election of Reagan, he lost re-election. The billionaires took over American democratic constitutional republic. Jimmy Carter called out the oligarchy in America. The mainstream media is not going to report this, but he was the last real president before before the beginning of big corporate money and politics, all made possible because of the Buckley versus Valeo decision in 1976. Jimmy Carter pretty much told you guys that big oil rigged the oil prices against him. They put Reagan in there. They put the billionaire economic propaganda in there that they passed. Recession 1981. Jimmy Carter, the U.S. is an oligarchy with unlimited political bribery. This wasn't a Republican president that would say such a thing like this. This is a Democratic president. Showing you that the worst of two evils is the Republican Party with the inverted star on its logo. They flipped the star to the satanic goat. True story. The reason why I think Jimmy Carter's going to die, it's because the last president to lose re-election was George H.W. Bush. That was 1992. That election was on November the 3rd. It was also the last one that was on November the 3rd. So before I said that during the time of George H.W. Bush's death, that was going to be a sign that Donald Trump was going to lose re-election, since Bush was the last one to lose re-election. Jimmy Carter is the only other living president who lost re-election. Two living presidents who lost re-election are all going to die during the same tenure of Donald Trump. That's why I think Jimmy Carter may probably die of natural causes. Who knows? It's James Earl Carter. It is James Carter that is Gematria of 113 and 41. The election's going to be on November 3, 11-3, 2021, inauguration year. Adds up to 41. It's New York. That is Gematria of 39. Jimmy Carter was the 39th president of the United States. The next president to lose re-election is going to be from New York. Jimmy Carter's from Georgia. Georgia has Gematria of 44. Don the Con, the birther president, having Gematria of 44 because 44 prior presidents, Donald Trump was the birther. And his tax issues are right now in the Supreme Court. It's Carter that has Gematria of 65 and 29. Is he going to die because of the coronavirus? Florida has Gematria of 65, where Trump is a registered resident of. Pandemic has Gematria of 65. It's Jimmy. It's women who may decide the election against Trump. Trump has Gematria of 25. Racist. Donald Trump is a racist. Women are voting against Donald Trump. Gematria of 25. 95 years of age, you say? 96 years of age? It is President Donald Trump that has Gematria of 95, and it's President Donald J. Trump that has Gematria of 96. So around this time, he's definitely going to lose re-election. And that's what Donald Trump is trying to do, is to make it to the year 24. But Jimmy Carter, the other living president who lost re-election, is going to die during the presidency of Trump. Just like the 41st president, George H.W. Bush. 2021 is that 41-year numerology. So Jimmy Carter lost re-election in 1980. This is all 40 years is 2020. 2020 is a 40 year. Jimmy Carter lost re-election to the 40th president, Ronald Reagan, 40 years ago. And Donald Trump is going to lose an election in the year 2020. That says everything. 40 years later, it has to do with Reagan being the 40th president who Jimmy Carter lost to. Jimmy Carter is DiMaggio of 13. Donald Trump is a 13 life path. Donald John Trump. And I think I've broken down this pretty well. How about the month of October? October, gematria 78 and 33. Would be a pretty fitting month if the gematria of masonry and federal in relation to the federal government may hold true. For October, who knows, maybe sometime after his 96th birthday. October the 1st, which is 11. Donald Trump is from the 11th state, New York. October the 1st of 2020, year numerology 31. Donald Trump was born on a birthday numerology of 31. Great Depression, President Herbert Hoover, 31st president, next Great Depression, Donald Trump. James Earl Carter's full name. James Earl Carter has gematria 59. 2020 is the 59th quadrennial election. It's Farmer that has gematria 34. Jimmy Carter was. November the 4th of 2020. November the 3rd of 2020. That is a election day numerology of 34. That's the gematria of Farmer. Jimmy Carter was a farmer. He owned a peanut farm before he divested away from his peanut farm interest. Peanut farm has gematria of 115 and 43. President Donald John Trump, the full name, has gematria of 115. 76 governor. I really don't know about 1976, really, to be honest about that. A female president. I think it's possible Biden could die before the election. James Earl Carter from a state named Georgia. Georgia is a female name of George. Maybe that's part of the riddle for Elizabeth Warren. If she's going to be the next president, she's going to be the vice president of Biden. She's going to be the president. He left office in 1981. Russian Federation has gematria of 81. It is President Warren that has gematria of 81. Really interesting if we see Biden pass away too. For sure, Jimmy Carter's going to die. I would say right after October, it's certainly possible that Jimmy Carter can die at 95 years of age. Certainly possible. Possibly right before his 96th birthday. October the 1st, his birthday of 1924 it was. October the 1st of 1924 is a birthday numerology of 54. That's the gematria of health, for instance. An example. October the 1st of the year 24 has numerology of 35. What if Joe Biden's going to make it to the office before Elizabeth is going to end up replacing him? That's a big question. Joe Biden is 77 years of age before the election. Jimmy Carter was in office in 1977. Once again, it's Elizabeth Warren that has gematria of 77. So this is going to be part of the Trump losing the re-election riddle. Jimmy Carter, tell you what. Let me go back to Inauguration Day, January the 20th of 1977. That is an Inauguration Day numerology of 117. World War III after the coronavirus economic war. Absolutely. Vice President Warren, if Joe Biden doesn't die before the election. For sure. Next president already here. Guarantee you.